You know we love spooky things. This is why we fell in love with Michigan-based Lynn B Designs. When I popped the pumpkin spice all the things wax melt into my burner, my home was filled with the delicious buttery scent. Plus, there's the wide variety of gorgeous nail polishes with themes like Hocus Pocus and Pleasant Peninsula. All products are vegan and cruelty-free, and you can find monthly sales on Facebook and Instagram at Lynn B Designs. Head to lynnbdesigns.store today. Again, that's LYNB designs.store.
We love them. We love you. It's great nail polish. It's the best I've ever used. Thanks.
Hey everybody, welcome to season 6.
Woo! Season 6! I honestly, when people ask me, I don't remember what season we're on because
6.
it hasn't registered with me. I think that we have done 5 seasons already.
It doesn't feel like it.
No,
at all.
But we have done so much. We've done so many events. We have so many live speaking things that we've done that we can do if anyone asks.
Yeah, we're available.
We wrote a book. I mean, it doesn't seem possible. Like it hasn't hit me or sunk in or registered. I don't know, because I think things happen so fast.
Yeah.
Even though starting season 6 seems like what?
I'm like, I keep telling people at our events and things like, oh, we're starting our 6th season. It comes out this Halloween. Then I'm like, 6.
Yeah, I'm like, can that be right?
Is that
did we really? We did. It's crazy.
That's real. We did it. So welcome back. Thank you for coming back. And thank you to all of the new listeners who we've got over the summer from doing live shows and things.
Yeah, we've done so many of it. It was so great to talk to people, to new people who hadn't heard of us and were excited to check us out, and people who have been listening. That's so wild to me, and it's so wonderful, and I love talking to people about that.
Wild. But yeah, people at Witches Night Bazaar like knew who I was. And
that's
like
amazing.
There were some people there that were buying the book specifically because they knew that like we were going to be there. We had a table there.
That's so amazing. I wish I could have made it, but I had mystery virus that gave me a fever.
Yay, mystery virus. It was really good. It was long.
Yeah. That's kind of why I was like, do I think I can push myself? No, I really don't.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It was a long day for me who like goes to bed at 10. It was a long day.
Yeah.
Fel did great.
That's awesome. I'm so glad that she was able to go and went, and it sounds like she had a good time too. So
yeah, I'm forever grateful that we were not put in the same room as the rave was being held.
Oh yeah,
because there's 2 rooms in that place, you know.
Yeah.
So some of the vendors were stuck with the rave, and I'm just really happy it was not us.
Oh yeah, it'd be so hard to talk to people.
It was loud, and it was at the point didn't start until like almost 11, and that's and grumpy old lady me was like, no, this is too loud.
I could do that lifestyle if I didn't have my day job.
Right. Yeah, no, it would be different.
That'd be awesome, but I just can't.
Alas, we still have to have day jobs.
Chronic fatigue doesn't help.
No.
I still think of that as being an anomaly, even though it's been like 3 years.
Yeah, I think you're stuck. I'm really sorry. Anyway, so if new listeners and old aren't aware for some reason, we have a book.
Ypsilanti Ghosts and Legends. Woo!
YGAL.
Yep, I like YGAL.
It's YGAL.
It's my gal.
It came out September 9th. So it's been out for almost 2 months at the point that this is coming out.
Yes.
And we just wanted to talk a little bit about it, and a little bit about our process writing a book, a little bit of we've talked about Ipsy on the podcast before, but not in this depth.
Yeah, because we didn't know all of it.
We didn't.
To the extent. Some of it we knew, but not to like quite the depth.
Yeah. It turns out Ipsy is really, really haunted.
Yes. Hell of a history. Hell of a history.
And I learned just how many cemeteries that are here and have been here.
Yeah.
It's a lot. So I don't know. I had a couple preliminary questions, but I'm happy to just like talk about how we feel about the process and about research and stuff.
We can start off with preliminary questions, and that'll probably get us into, because we did this in what, like a year-ish, under 2 years.
About.
Yeah, it was under 2 years.
Because we didn't get the full contract signed and ready to go until like halfway through 2022. Okay, so why don't we just start about like how did this happen?
They sent us an email, which is wild.
This happened through the wildest means ever, through the most unassuming and mundane means, but actually is super wild ever.
Yeah, because we'd always intended on writing a book. That was always up in the cards, always a plan. But we weren't expecting to do it through a known press. I mean, I don't want to call them a small press because they're not. It's History Press, owned by Arcadia. I ordered books from them. I was very well aware of them when I was a book buyer.
We use them like every
we
use them for every podcast.
Yeah, so like they're not a small press, but it's not like Penguin Random House, which they're obscenely huge. Right. But I just assumed it would be not necessarily self-published, maybe through Fifth Avenue Press, through the Ann Arbor Library. Which I still would like to do for my personal books, my fiction books. But yeah, it wouldn't have occurred to me to even approach our History Press. It really wouldn't.
Right. It was wild that they're the ones that emailed us. Like, I don't think that's normal. I don't
know. I really don't know.
I feel like usually you come to a publisher with an idea.
Generally speaking, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's something that History Press does, because they have multiple series.
Sure.
So it may be that they're always on the lookout for new potential people.
That's true. Yeah.
But I would say generally in publishing, no. You don't usually just get an email out of nowhere going, "Hey, you want to write a book for us?"
It's like, "Hey, do you want to write a book?" And we go, "Is this a real email?"
Kind of, yeah. I definitely would have been more, not suspicious exactly, but hesitant if I didn't know who they were.
Right.
But I knew exactly who they were.
Right.
Like you said, we've used several of their books. We were both booksellers. We both work in libraries. We know who they are.
Yes. Yeah.
I knew they were legit, unless someone was, for whatever reason, pretending to be from History Press, which didn't seem very likely.
That's the publisher they decided to scam with.
Exactly.
Not
exactly.
One of the giants, which would make way more sense to me, but
precisely.
Why would you pick them? So we were like, hell yeah, we want to write a book.
Yeah.
Thanks for making this easy.
I mean, it's like we even kind of know what we want to do. Like, it's just so I like everything with this podcast. Truly, it's just all fallen into place.
It has.
Like, we had considered doing live events, but hadn't been considering it in the immediate future until Frankenfest reached out.
Yeah.
And then that has led to other things. We've made so many connections, and we've done Ghostorama, and then Monroe reached out. I mean, it's just absolutely incredible.
It's been wild. I've never felt something that I was doing was this right.
Yeah. Like, I feel like it is the universe validating what we're doing.
Yeah, I agree. Totally. Thanks, universe. Yeah, and then we took roughly a year and a half, definitely under 2 years, to write a book.
Which it was nice that it was the two of us. We could split up the workload a little bit and hold each other accountable. That always helps. But I mean, we were given deadlines and we took them seriously and we met them.
Right. No, you gave me a deadline. I got it.
Yeah.
I don't. What do you mean?
Yeah.
You gave me a deadline to be done by.
Certainly used to from doing articles for different publications. Like, I would never just blow my deadlines. That I mean, that just screws with everybody's timelines. So obviously if there's an emergency, which I have had a few, I've worked with the editors and we've made it work, but
yeah, that's totally different.
it's
Yeah.
just like
But
short
if we
of an
had the
emergency.
opportunity, yeah, if we had the opportunity to meet a deadline, we should probably try to meet that deadline.
So. Yeah, like it just, I don't know. I'm just that, yeah. It just wouldn't occur to me to, unless I was really struggling, to not meet the deadline.
Right. But you're right. Having the two of us helped immensely. I think the deadlines might have been extended if it's just one person trying to fill, in this case, 128 pages of book. Like,
yeah,
that's a daunting task. But thankfully, we both have different strengths, and both of us can come to the book and do our things. And it worked out great. And now we have this book and this stuff. And it's got the brick dick.
Yeah, because we had to. Like, that's just, it is Ipsy.
Everyone who stopped by at Witch's Night had a comment.
Excellent, yes, good.
About the dick.
If it weren't that, I don't know what we would have put on the cover. There's just nothing else that iconic.
Like, I don't know. The Firehouse Museum?
Yeah.
Not as good, though.
Yeah, no, not as good.
None of it's as good as the brick dick.
Because when you see that, oh, that's Ypsilanti. That's the penis tower.
Oh, I thought you were like, oh, that's a penis.
And at Christmas, when it has the colorful rings around the top there, yeah.
It's just it's the water tower. Whatever. What a bad name. Whatever. What did you find the easiest and the hardest?
I would say the easiest was doing just like the blanket histories for me, because it was simply a matter of taking the raw data and making it readable.
Okay.
It's just it's dates, it's names, it was kind of a mindless activity for me. Mm-hmm. It was once I got past that and had to be a little more creative, that was a little harder. But just translating dates and names and timelines, that was really easy for me.
Got that part, yeah.
Because it wasn't creative. I didn't have to be creative. I didn't have to be as creative.
Right, you had to make it enjoyable to read, but you didn't have to, like, prose it up.
Yeah. I didn't have to really come up with anything, because it was just data. It's hard facts.
Right. What was the hardest?
Getting into more of the stories, and trying to make, not exactly a narrative, but almost. That was a little harder, because I had to bring more of myself to it.
Right.
But also make it all cohesive, so it didn't feel like this hard switch of like, here are these hard facts, let's not make them bullet points, and then now we're gonna flow into the stories, people's experiences, and things like that, and make it all like flow and be cohesive.
Right. I think the easiest part for me was actually writing the haunted part. So was actually writing the stories,
which is why that was kind of left to you, because that's definitely your strength, and that's where your interest is. Whereas I get into the data and I'm just like, oh, this is so fun. Ooh, dates.
I know. And I'm like, the hardest part for me, I think, was getting from what we would do, say, at the Historical Society, to then translate that to the book, to actually writing it. Because, like, now I do have all this data. I did all this research. I don't want to do the next part. Like, I don't want to decipher it. I don't want to have to weed through it. I don't want to have to figure out what is going to be interesting to read and what needs to be left out, because a bunch of owners' names over the past 100 years is boring as hell. Like,
yeah, and it was distilling that down was surprisingly easy for me, but I also was a little sad sometimes, because we had so much data, so much history, which was a blessing. We have such a great historical society. Oh my god.
Oh, shout out to Connor and the entire Ypsi Historical Society. Everybody named Connor is cool.
Let's see that. Yeah, they were so helpful. They were able to get us so much. They've collected so much. My goodness.
Yeah.
So distilling that down was sometimes a little daunting, But when I just threw myself into it, it was like, okay, I'm building something that people will find interesting and also that I want to tie in later. Because some of the stuff I found, I was like, well, that's nice, but it doesn't tie into anything. It's just like this interesting little fact.
There were plenty of times.
Some of those. I left some of those on the cutting room floor, so to speak.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there were plenty of times I'd be like, oh, that's cool. That has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah.
That's not in this.
Yeah.
That's not a building we're talking about. Like, I don't need to include that. I don't have to know this.
Yeah. Sometimes it was astonishing that I would have all this research and I get a paragraph out of it.
Right?
And it was like, should I pad this? Like,
what do I do here?
Yeah, because I don't know if that people realize just how much research you do and you get and you use so little of it, comparatively speaking.
Oh, for real? Because we have notebooks full now at this point, and we have so many photos and documents and things that got put down to from whatever they started at to 128 pages, and that's pretty wild, actually.
Yeah. And there are history books too, so like if you are more interested in the history, you can just go read those books. I didn't want to take that away. This wasn't a history book, it was a legends and lore book.
Right. Well, what's your favorite part of the book? But like maybe more what are you most proud of? Not just the book in total, because we're really freaking proud of this.
Yeah.
Cannot be overstated. But like what stands out to you most? Like what are you most proud of accomplishing in this?
I think kind of bringing different pieces together, because a lot of the things we talk about have like almost like pieces scattered around Ypsi. And some people know one story about a person and a totally different group knows a different story about a person, and being able to knit those stories together was really satisfying for me. And maybe someone who knows the history of a place and another person knows like the ghost legend or whatever, and being able to marry that and going, well, here's how that feeds in. Here's why this is a story.
Yeah.
This is why it's a legend. This is why we talk about these things or these people. And finding the people behind a lot of the names around town.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially with the university right there, which I am not connected to the university in any way.
Right.
I went to Western, which is not a rival of Eastern, even though it sounds like it should be.
It should be, but it is not.
It's not at all. So that was kind of cool. I know a lot more about the university now, for sure. That it was built on an award-winning orchard, which makes me a little sad.
Of all things,
how cool would it be to have an orchard there now? It's not their fault. They thought they were doing a good thing. They're like, oh, we'll donate some land to this sweet little teachers college, and now it's
explosion.
A good sized. It's a small university, but it's not a small college. It's a university.
I am definitely proud of being able of getting out there and talking to people. It's not my favorite thing to do in the world.
Yep, I'm proud of you too. No, it's not mine either, although I've done a fair bit of it lately.
Yeah, and we have to do way more.
Maybe because I'm coming off of an illness where I was locked in my house for like half a week.
You're like, oh my god, please let me talk about things.
Yeah. Oh, people.
I really like my history of Ypsi through the cemeteries. There's a couple cemeteries around here that people have forgotten about and that are not included in a ton of historical things. Woodlawn, our traditional Black cemetery, being one of them. It's not in the book, but I got Spencer Cemetery finally listed on Google Maps.
Nice.
Because I was like, there's nothing. You're just showing a field. Like, you don't show anything. No, this memorial deserves to be like recognized.
Yeah, there's even a memorial there.
There's a memorial.
There's a thing here.
I got an email from Google a little while ago that was like over 1,000 people have liked your addition when I added Spencer Cemetery, and I was like, wow, sweet.
That's cool.
I accomplished a small thing. Excellent.
I didn't even know you could add things to Google. That's nice.
You can, if there's something that's not there on the map, but it's in real life. All you have to do is just provide the address, and I think maybe a photo to like proof. But I already had tons of photos of the memorial, and then I assume they verify it somehow using Google. They'll make it a location on Google Maps. It's very nice.
Cool. It's probably where a lot of those locations come from.
Actually, yeah. Oh, and I'm also super proud that we did our first investigation ever.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That's awesome.
And there are technically 2 investigations in the book because you did the Ipsy one.
Yeah, because I did the one down with the library, which I did not lead. I was just part of.
Right.
And then the Riverside one, which we led, which is incredible. Like that's our first ever. So yes, everybody who does come to our live shows and gets disappointed when we say we're not really investigators, now we are.
Yeah. And I've participated in like a little mini hunts and things. So
yeah,
we've only led the one.
This is coming out after our ghost tour in downtown Ann Arbor, which we're leading. But at the end of that, we're gonna do a little EVP session outside of Crazy Wood.
Awesome.
Yeah, to round out our evening. Oh, I also have drawings in the book, but I'm not sure I'm particularly proud of those.
And you did a lot of the photography.
I did.
And I think they look great.
Well, thank you. Yeah, that was out of necessity because we needed some modern day pictures.
Yeah.
We couldn't just use Ypsi Historical Society photos.
Right.
Drawing.
Though I was impressed with how much they had and we were able to use. But
they do have a ton.
But yeah, we couldn't completely rely on them, of course.
Yeah. Is there anything in the book that you wish we could have done differently?
I don't think so. I wish we'd had more stories, but that's just how it works. Like, Ypsi is not a huge town. It's older than Ann Arbor, haha.
By a whole year, suck it, Ann Arbor.
Yeah, officially, yeah. But yeah, this area, because of we're out right on the river, was founded first. But that's just kind of in the nature. I'm like, we were lucky to get this approved because we were just on the threshold of their population requirement. So
yeah, we had to include both Ypsi City and Ypsi Township.
Yeah, because the city away. The city is small, and a lot of the things were really in the township, and that enabled us to branch out to places like Willow Run, which is kind of a big deal. Certainly in World War II, it's a very big deal.
Yeah, it would have been terrible if we had to cut out like a third of the book just because it didn't fall directly in those boundaries.
Yeah, like Bonehead's Barbecue, which is technically Willis, I think, but it's so famously haunted, like not including it would have just been ridiculous to me.
It would have been weird. Yeah,
I think everyone would have asked.
Yeah, I agree.
They have billboards around, like, and they're very vocal about how they have had experiences there.
They are so happy to talk to you about it.
Yeah, because it's apparently a very active location.
Yeah,
and the food is good. I really like their food. Greg and I haven't been in a while, but
oh, it's so good. I love it. Yeah, Aaron and I need to go back.
Definitely off the beaten path, which is probably why you see so many signs on 94 for it. But it's worth it. It's worth the drive. It was good food. And it's a cool place. It's just interesting how they have it decorated and things like that, especially the women's restroom. God. and the men's restroom too. I haven't been in, but Greg has told me.
I haven't personally been, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I would have loved to have done different is to have a little bit more of our personalities in the book. But I totally understand that that Arcadia has a standard and they have like, this is the way that they do books. Yeah. And it's also our first book, and I'm not going to push boundaries.
And it is called History Press, so I guess like a little more professional, a little less casual, like everyday talk.
Yes. Yeah. So I like further down the line when we've got more publications and we can be a little bit more, we can throw a little bit more of ourselves into it once we've got like the creds behind us. I would really love to throw in more personality into the books, but so that's probably the only thing. But that is not a complaint at all. Like they've got History Press has their own set of guidelines. This is what they wanted. This is my first book ever, and they get what they want.
We're part of a line, like we're part of the Haunted America series. Is that it?
Yes. So everybody has to read similarly.
Yeah, there's a very much a sense of not exactly formality, but continuity.
Yeah, continuity. Yeah.
So
I don't know. Is there anything you want to mention about it? Do you want me to read a bit? Do you want to talk about the 8 fucking pages of bibliography that we have in this damn thing?
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't say that was like the hardest part. Was doing the bibliography.
I tried to block it from my memory, Krista.
I'm actually proud of the bibliography because it's thorough. Like we show you the receipts. Like this is where we got our information from. It's not a selected bibliography. Like this is where we got this stuff from. It's legit.
Actually if we're counting a page as one side of printed text, it's actually 11 pages.
Because we used a lot of sources. We have a lot of newspaper articles.
My baby.
You know? I dove into newspaper archives. Like,
yeah,
we are
there's a whole bunch of shit in here.
And I've heard people kind of diss some of the other books in the series or in other series that are haunted, whatever city, part of Michigan.
Yeah.
Because the people made stuff up, didn't really do a bibliography.
Right.
And no one called them on it. At least before publication. They're getting called on it now, but
right.
I've heard countless stories about that, like how, oh, you can't trust those books. It's like, well, no, you can't trust those authors.
Oh, one thing I did want to talk about, read the book, was how we apparently curse businesses.
I don't think that was our fault. I think we just walked into a rocky situation.
A tumultuous time in downtown. Yeah.
And I was a little worried about that going into it, just because we've seen so many businesses come and go. We've seen even long-term businesses go, like Hobbs, but
yeah, which is now a barbecue place, I think.
Yeah, or it's going to be or something.
Or
so it's going to be a restaurant again. Yeah, I'm excited to go, actually.
Me too, because I never went to Hobbs. Now and then I felt bad.
Yeah,
they were closing.
Me too.
I was like, oh shit.
I was like, oh,
I didn't go to this like institution of Ypsilanti's past. I feel bad.
That was a place I wish we could have investigated, just because it was there for so long.
It's so old. I mean, maybe the new place will let us do it.
Yeah, true.
Is there a location or a creature or a unexplained mystery that you gravitated toward more than others?
I don't know that there was. The Thompson block was interesting for history, but then also the where the general store was, I can't remember what that hotel was called or what block it was called.
The Follett?
Yeah, that might have been it.
What, the Follett?
Follett House.
Yeah.
That was really interesting too. Just the way that Depot Town developed was very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And how that used to be downtown, and what is now downtown was uptown.
Right. Despite it being
south to the south of.
Yeah. That's fine.
Yeah, Depot Town, when the depot was active, and there were three mills, I think, right there.
Yeah.
Along the river. The mill race is gone. It's now a road. It's been filled in. But that's why Frog Island is Frog Island.
Yeah.
Even though it's not an island anymore, it was when the mill race was
there. It was
there.
an island, yeah.
Because I hear that a lot. Like, why did they call it Frog Island? It's not an island. That's stupid. It's like, well, it was.
It was.
Not all that long ago, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Longer ago than our transient little city would remember, but.
Right.
Yeah.
I couldn't find, and I probably could have asked James Mann, but when it was filled in. I just found maps of, there it is, and modern maps of, yep, that's a road.
Oh, it's gone.
I think it's called Rice Road. It's when you drive to the parking lot, that's next to Frog Island. That was where the mill race was.
Yeah.
It's a parking lot. Yeah, part of it's
parking lot. It's a parking lot.
The other part's a road. Because that road didn't used to go through. Was it forest? I think it didn't used to go through to forest.
Yeah.
It was a drive that took you to the depot and it stopped.
Right. Welcome to the depot. You're done.
Yep. So that was kind of neat to get into that, because downtown gets so much attention. Depot Town gets some, but it's called
Not
downtown, so you think, oh, it's downtown, this is the heart of the city, but it wasn't always.
No, and I would argue that we are like a Time Lord, and we have two hearts.
Yeah. Yeah, because I wrote an article about Ypsilanti for Vocal Media about like, it was kind of a listicle of like cool things about Ypsi, and one of them was we have two downtowns.
Yeah.
And I got quite a response from people going, oh, I've heard of Ypsilanti, or I live near there. I had no idea there were two downtowns. That's crazy. I want to go check it out. So that was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, go check it out. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Sad that we're now missing a lot more businesses, but
cool update on what was Conjure Goddess is that there's still a presence in the basement.
That's true.
Because a new store opened and I went in and I was like, hey, so I wrote this book, and the previous store that was here, they said that they were haunted. Have you experienced anything? And the first thing the woman said was, oh, when we moved in, we staged the heck out of the basement. Like, and I hadn't said anything about the basement. I didn't say, oh, they had experienced things in the basement. I didn't say anything about that. I just said the previous tenant said they had experienced things. Have you? And she confirmed it. And she was the one who brought up the basement, not me. So something was there.
Interesting. That's awesome. Good. Keep being haunted.
I haven't investigated the businesses that are in where Go was. The front part, what used to be the party room, is now realty office, I think.
I think so, yeah.
It looks pretty cool. Haven't talked to them. And then a bakery and also some ice cream people, it's confusing, moved into where
it's a little confusing, yeah.
The ice cream parlor part was, but they like just opened, so I haven't talked to anyone there yet.
Yeah. Give them time to settle before we're like, hey, you haunted?
Yeah, give them some
welcome to our city. Do you have ghosts?
They did some alterations. I don't know what. The ice cream equipment, I believe, just stayed.
Okay.
Because it was the new ice cream people. Gosh, I wish I could remember their name. It was something kind of funky.
I don't remember.
They bought the equipment from Rob, and then it just stayed there, and they're using it. So
okay, sweet.
But it's not opening as an ice cream parlor because they're a wholesale ice cream distributor, right? And they used to operate out of Brown Court, which is no longer a thing.
Yeah,
and they came over to Ypsi. So
gotcha. Okay.
Well, welcome, neighbors. We'll see.
Welcome.
We'll see how this works out and what happens.
Yeah. I would like to go ask the new like putt place.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
We have a new putt around.
Yeah. Was that empty before, or was that something?
That was empty.
Yeah, because they did a ton of renovations too, which has been amazing to see.
Right. Which I guess you would have to do if you're opening an indoor, probably fairly small mini golf.
Yeah. None of our store spaces downtown are particularly large.
No.
the retail.
So I am very interested to stop in there and be like, yes. How did you do this?
Yes.
And they're very dressed up for Halloween right now, so.
Oh, fantastic. We'll have to check that out. That'll be fun. Oh, it would have been nice to connect with Decode Ypsilanti too.
Oh, that would have been cool.
It was, couldn't get a hold of them. That's a cool place.
That place is awesome.
Their sets are so detailed that like something's got to be in there messing around with them, right?
I know.
But I don't know. Yeah, we need to go back and finish it this time.
Yeah.
We were so close. We were so close.
I know. We were so close. We were 99% done. I want to talk about my friend.
That was a great.
I want to talk about our friend here.
Yeah, I'll let you talk about him. But yeah, that was a great story.
As you'll read in the book, we talked with Claire at This, That, and the Otter Things in Depot Town,
which is a great store.
And so good.
I got my awesome sunglasses from there.
And while talking, we're asking if any of the objects, because a lot of it is found stuff, a lot of it is like estate sale stuff, a lot of it is, it's all collected and curated wonderfully. And we're asking if there were any haunted items in the store. And there was that cabinet, jester cabinet, sitting up at the front, being his spooky little self, guarding the front door. We had a nice chat about that. You'll read about that all in the book. We're not telling the whole story. But we also interviewed Ben Goldman of Afterlife Road Productions, and who is also a paranormal investigator. He is in a different section of the book. You can go find that. And invited, everybody to come to the release party. Everybody that was in the book. Ben replied yes. Ben showed up. He did not know anything about the cabinet or the book in general, other than that he was in it and it was about Ipsy. So he picked up a copy, sat down to flip through it, flipped almost immediately to the page with the jester cabinet photo on it, and thought, oh, that looks really familiar. Because that jester cabinet was currently sitting in the back of his car.
Yes, of all places.
He too had been to This, That, and the Otter Things sometime after we were there. Saw the jester cabinet, could not live without it. And it so happened to be with him when he showed up to the release party. And and he brought it in. We had a release party with the cabinet. It was phenomenal. I took photos with it. They're on Instagram.
It freaked out a lot of people.
It scared a ton of people because it is not a pleasant looking item.
It's very unique.
Which is why it's not mine. Because Aaron was right. If it turned out to not be haunted, there's no way I could live with that thing in my house.
And it was meant for Ben.
It was meant for Ben, and it is haunted.
Yeah. But in a
something
good way?
Yeah, something very protective.
Yeah.
So it just so happened that night he had the cabinet in his car, coming home from something.
Yeah, because he said they take it to different events.
Yeah, like and it holds, and when it's not traveling, it holds all of his ghost investigation equipment. And then we got to party with this jester cabinet that none of us knew the other person knew about.
No.
So it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was so cool.
We do have some updates, like since we published the book, like the new tenants in Conjure Goddess's old space. Also basement activity.
It's like it's a little bit validating actually that like, this actually like, these hauntings are real.
Yeah.
They obviously mean something is happening to other people. This cabinet obviously has something about it that draws people to it. Like that's
right.
That's pretty validating. Like,
absolutely.
we are writing about things that aren't made up. We are studying something that is real. That's awesome.
Yeah, because Ben had all kinds of stories about the cabinet that they had investigated, and
and it's just a protective, creepy looking dude.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Lives in his apartment.
Yeah,
just hanging out. So I love that part. We didn't know the cabinet was just with him in the car.
Yeah, it was so funny. And then hearing the investigations that he and his team have done with it, like that was really cool. That was super cool.
That was so awesome.
Trying to think if there are any updates we've had since, but those are the only two I can think of.
Might be the only two, but hopefully someday in the future that we can work with Ben again and maybe do some more, either like documentary type productions or just straight up investigating would be so much fun.
Yeah.
Afterlife Road Productions, everybody. Go check them out.
Yep. Yeah, and it's funny because I'd been watching them since they were at MSU.
Yeah.
Because I think it came out of the MSU paranormal group.
Yeah.
But they graduated and still doing it, which is great.
Right. And I can't remember when he graduated because we've been on the MSU tour.
Yeah.
And like that group.
Yeah.
So I'm like, have we actually met your team before? I don't know.
And Greg and I had been out even before that. So yeah.
Yeah. So you guys almost definitely have.
And it was funny how I first met him. I don't know if I've ever talked about it on here. Because I did the first Ghost-orama, which was supposed to be in Allegan, and then the property got devastated. I can't remember what happened.
Yeah.
And so I had to move. So we moved to a Pawpaw location, Haunted Theater in downtown Pawpaw. And these guys came up to the table and they were like, "Oh my God, you have to meet Ben. You have to meet Ben. We're trying to get him to come out." And so they're texting him going, "Oh, you have to meet this woman." And they're telling me, "Yo, you have to meet Ben." So he did finally come out, and he came up to the table. He's like, "Hey, my friends told me I'm supposed to meet you." And I was like, "Oh, are you Ben?" So we got to talk. He's like, "Wow, your voice is really familiar." And I was like, "Yeah, I watched you on YouTube." I just didn't know it was the same person. It occurred to me. I was like, "Yeah, I watch you on YouTube." And he's like, "Oh, I listened to you on Spotify."
Incredible.
So it's just kind of, and then we just got to talking, but it was funny.
We have a lot of coincidences with Ben, I think. Like, I think it's every once in a while we're just gonna cross paths again. But
yeah, because I had a visual, like I recognized him. It took a moment to click.
Yeah.
But I had a visual because they're on YouTube, whereas we are not. Well, we are, but it's audio. So he didn't know what I looked like. But when I started talking, he was like, "Wait a minute, I know your voice. I know your voice." So that was funny. Small world. Small world.
It really is. It turns out it really is. Yeah. Especially like in your local paranormal world, it's very we're close knit in our own little individual community.
Yeah. And when we first met, like Jerry and Danny was in Lansing, which is extremely centrally located within the Lower Peninsula.
Yes.
So
I don't know. Are there any parts of the book you want to tease? I can say for certain that we knocked down some untruths.
We did.
You know us here at this podcast. We ruin your day.
Sorry, not sorry. But we did uncover a lot of interesting stuff.
For sure.
Because a lot of people do know about Collins and the Michigan murders.
Yeah.
Although I do like blowing people's minds with that who don't know. Like I was passing. Who was I with? I don't remember. I was driving with someone, and we were turning from Getty's onto LaForge, I think.
And you were like, "Hey,"
and I was like, "Oh, hey, that's the murder site," and they were like, "Wait, what?"
I'm sorry. Go on.
Yeah. Who the hell was I with? I have no idea.
Yeah. Who do you know that wouldn't know that yet?
Yeah, I don't remember, but yeah, that was kind of fun. I liked blowing people's minds with that. But then there was the other murder we discovered of the child.
Yeah.
That I've had like one person mention who would have been old enough to remember. Probably was a child at the time as well.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that we're bringing that sort of legend to life because that's a pretty wild story too.
I mean, yeah, and it's still unsolved.
Yeah.
Like it involved a couple big names in the 1930s Ypsi community, and it's unsolved. It's unsolved child murder. Come on.
Yeah. and at a very well-known location within Ypsi.
Right. It's you can just walk over.
I've been there several times.
Yeah. It's at the Tridge. You just go, "Oh no, a boy's body was found here."
Yeah, it was weird. The last time I was there, I was by myself, and thinking back on that was kind of like, wow. Because I used to associate it with the Smeat.
Yeah, which you still can, because that is still the Smeat's territory.
Absolutely. But yeah, thinking of that story was like, wow.
True crime, I don't think is ever necessarily fun to write. I think it's very fascinating to write. Part of why I love it is to get into people's heads and like understand motivations and kind of understand more of the human psyche and human condition. But you know what I don't like writing about is child murder.
And for it to be unsolved. Yeah, I feel like if we had answers, it would be different.
Yeah.
But because we don't, it's a little different.
It's different.
But
yeah.
the more you got into it, the more I was like, whoa, like there's more going on here than just a boy
everything. Yeah, just anything you think is just surface level cut and dry, I guarantee you it's not. Every murder, like we found out recently in your neighborhood, is just an onion that you can just peel, and it just keeps getting weirder and deeper and sometimes more fucked up. But there's always layers. It's never just a cut and dry.
Very rarely. Yeah.
Yeah. So poor Richard. Although now I do want to like sit over there with a recorder and just say hey. Be like, hey, if you're still around, I wouldn't hang around there as a child, but you know, if you are.
Maybe he liked playing there though. I mean, it's a park.
I don't know if I'd want to hang around there after I was murdered.
Well, and there's the playground there now as well.
Yeah. So maybe, yeah.
In the park, not near the church exactly, but
nah, but you know, close enough.
Yeah. Close enough that it might attract a child.
Yeah, for sure.
Another one I like telling people about, like I was telling the guys at T-Mobile today, was the UFOs, the 1960 UFOs that started.
Nobody knows about that anymore.
Yeah, nobody around here anyway.
Which is crazy. How do you not know about that?
Yeah, it was a big deal. We were on national.
It was huge.
We were on national TV. I mean, it was in Congress. It was a big deal. I mean, weren't people reporting sightings like even as far south as Ohio?
Yeah, from Sylvania and Lima, maybe.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was very widespread. It was very much seen.
It wasn't goddamn swamp gas.
Nope. Yeah, and I love saying like, I was like, yeah, the whole swamp gas. UFOs are swamp gas, and they're like, oh yeah. It's like that came from Michigan, like that came from Dexter, and the guys were like, what? So yeah, I was like, no, that was here. Willow Run was reporting in because they have, of course, the radar and things there. Yeah, it was. That's another fun one that I like to throw out there for people.
Oh yeah, and I like telling people like, well, it wasn't just one night or one UFO. It was like a month of UFO sightings.
Yeah, and like several sheriffs and police groups were involved.
Yeah.
There's at Hillsdale College, they called the, I forget what the corps is, Civilian Protection Corps.
The Civilian Corps.
Yeah, they called them. They got them involved. Like it was wild.
It was wild. So wild.
Yeah, lots of.
And that's what you're gonna find in this book, everybody.
Yeah,
we got ghosts.
We really got into crime. That one.
You got UFOs. You got cryptids. We run the whole gamut.
And that's another thing I had never seen. All those pieces brought together, like Dexter and Hillsdale, and learning about our congressman. Asking for explanations. Like I didn't know that was involved. I never hear about that when people tell me the Dexter story. Like,
yeah, well, no one wants to besmirch a president's name by. That's not true anymore. But like it used to be that you didn't besmirch the president's name by like throwing him in with like UFOs and stuff.
But at the time, I mean, they would have been very concerned about flying things suddenly appearing in our civilian area. Like they were Cold War. They were very concerned.
Yes.
About what was going on. They weren't necessarily thinking aliens. They didn't care who it was. They wanted an explanation.
Yeah.
And what they got was swamp gas, which is ridiculous, as most Michiganders would know, because we are an extremely rural state.
Yeah. Yeah, I love trying to explain to a bunch of farmers that live next to a swamp that what they saw in the sky was swamp gas.
Yeah.
Pretty sure they know what swamp gas is, buddy.
Yep.
It's okay. Hynek took it back.
He did. Poor man. He went through a lot.
He went through a lot. His jaw was wired shut on those days of investigation, okay?
Yeah, he had a rough time.
He was going through some stuff.
Well,
working for the government, which is always a bad idea.
Yeah, especially when the government was very hostile at the time. Like, for as much as they were concerned about security, as they well should have been, especially then, they also were very, like, resistant to actually investigating things, which I always found very strange.
It wasn't even, what was it? It was like 12 hours later or something wild. A very short period of time before Hynek was like, oh, it was swamp gas.
Yeah,
and they were like, close it down, everybody. Gotta go.
They demanded an explanation, like, immediately.
Yeah.
Which to me does give credence to people who are like, well, they probably knew what it was.
That does sound like it, doesn't it?
Why are they so not curious? Like, why do they not care?
Yeah.
If they don't know what it is and they're concerned about our safety, why are they not investigating? That's just weird to me. So, like, I understand that people who are really into that and really think that way, because it just doesn't seem to make sense.
Right. But because we don't get all the information, because the government hasn't exactly been forthcoming with all the things that it's done over its existence, it very easily leads into conspiracy thought, which can get dangerous. But
sure,
when they don't even put the time in,
it just seems weird.
Like, you guys didn't even put the time in. You could have spent another day even and then had something to say about it. Like,
I mean, there were
believable amount
there were university professors that he could have talked to that were seriously looking into it.
Yeah.
Because they're university professors, and so they were curious.
That's okay. We forgive him for that, because he came to our side.
Right. And I think he always kind of was.
I think he was too, but he stopped playing nice for the government.
Right.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to say about this bad boy? Now that we have done, I don't know, like an hour-long advertisement for it.
Check it out. I talked to Schuler's in Ann Arbor. They should be carrying it. It's supposed to go into Walgreens, but I haven't seen it there yet.
Yeah, me either.
You can, of course, special order it through whatever your local bookstore is. Always encourage that.
It's really easy to get because it's not independently published.
Right.
It's traditionally published.
If they ask you if it's available through Ingram, the answer is yes.
Yes.
Which is what they asked me at Schuler's. And if anyone has any questions, certainly feel free to contact us. This was definitely a different experience from self-publishing or doing like the GoFundMe publishing, which is always a bit of a stressor.
Yeah, I much prefer this route.
Yeah.
Oh, they're gonna take care of everything. All I have to do is write it. All right.
Yeah.
Sure, you got it.
Proofread. That was pretty much it.
Yeah, can do.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm excited to. You know what I really love is that because of this book and because of the connections that we've now made, like I could say we're kind of experts on Ipsy. We're not necessarily James Mann level of expert, because he has written many good history books that everybody should check out.
He is a walking encyclopedia.
Literally walking, he walks everywhere. You can see him on the side of the road anywhere in Ipsy on any given day. I just never honk at him because, one, the horn in this new car doesn't work, and two, because I don't want to scare him. But I think we're now like people that others looking to do research or looking for spooky stories on the area like can come to, and I really like being that person. It makes me feel good when I can like be an authority on something, and I think that this kind of proves that we are an authority on something.
Yeah, we were able to put pieces together that had been scattered.
Yeah.
And I love connecting dots.
It's pretty great.
Yep.
So thanks for listening. I know this is a weird first episode for a season of Haunted Mitten. But we really just wanted, planned this up. We wanted to talk about our book. We wrote a freaking book, and give a little background into the process of writing a book, and just talk about what we love to talk about, which is our city, history, and ghosts. Next episode, it will be a lot more like our standard formats, so look out for that. It'll have the intro, it'll have all of the sounds and whistles. This one just doesn't.
I'm excited to revisit witches this season.
Yeah, there's more witches in Michigan, everybody. Who knew?
And warlocks.
We didn't. And warlocks. We got warlocks too.
Yep.
Come on down to Michigan. We got your witches, we got your warlocks, we got your devil chair, we got everything.
Yep.
So yeah, contact us if you've got any stories to share, if you want to talk about Ypsi. If you want to talk about anything spooky, we're down. If you want to talk about witches, you got more witches. Haunted Mitten on all the socials. We got the Patreon, which if you're watching this, it's probably there. And you're probably already on the Patreon. Thank you for your contribution.
Greatly appreciate it.
As of when this comes out, we have one more live event. We will be at A2 Book Fest at the... Is that the plaza or is it downtown?
Oh, I don't remember.
It's for the Ann Arbor... It's at the Ann Arbor District Library. Location TBD because we don't remember. But we will be selling copies of our books there, and all the other shit we write.
Buy my fiction.
That's Ivy. That's Ivy telling me, Mom, you have to get off the recording device. Get off the box. I gotta do dog stuff. All right. And as always, happy haunting.
We're back here to talk to you about Lynn B Designs. Not only do they have the best nail polish to rival even those most expensive nail polishes you see on Instagram, but they have stickers, wax melts, shirts, everything cute and adorable and definitely ready for this fall season. So be sure to check out this vegan, cruelty-free brand. You will love them as much as we do. Check out Lynn B Designs monthly sales. They are fantastic. I am going to go look at some right now. Thanks.